for one more day of our study of Shastras to steady our mind and intellects towards the goal and the means. Today too we'll have our Taittiriya, Patanjala, Mundaka, Gita, Bhagavatam and Adhyatma Ramayanam classes with as much sincerity in application as we can manage. Let us start with our first thing, the chanting of Taittiriya Upanishad, followed by the class with Adi Shankara Bhashyam. Om 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 Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhetamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrubhyo Vamsharushibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha. Om Nidhaye Sarva Vidyanam Bhishaje Bhavaroginam Gurave Sarvalokanam Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayinam Sutra Bhashya Kruto Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram. Om Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatītam Gaganasadrusham Tattvamasyādilakṣyam Ekannityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatītam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namāmi. Om Parabrahmane Namaha Shruti Namaha. समस्त ब्रह्म विद्याचार्येभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो देवताभ्यो नमः. श्री वेद व्यास वैशंपायन याज्ञवल्क्य आद्य शंकरादि गुरुभ्यो नमः. अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः. तेषां सर्वेषां गुरूणां देवतानां परब्रह्मणः श्रुतिमातु अनुग्रहेण उपनिषदुक्त ब्रह्मात्मैक्य बोधस्य अस्मिन् क्षणे एव सिद्ध्यर्थं सनातन धर्मस्य वैदिक संस्कृतेः हैन्दव अद्वैत ज्ञानस्य पुनरुत्थान जागरण विश्वव्याप्त्यर्थं तत्कृत समस्त साधक भक्त सेवक जिज्ञासु संस्थापकानां शत्रुविघ्न निर्मूलन द्वारा शक्तीनां साधनानां संपदानां अवाप्ति द्वारा धर्म संस्थापन कार्ये दिग्विजय प्राप्त्यर्थं विश्वशांति कल्याण एकता प्राप्त्यर्थं श्री तैत्तिरीय उपनिषदः पारायणम् आद्यशंकर भाष्य समेत अध्ययनं वयं सर्वे करिष्यामहे. आदौ पारायणम्. In the Parayanam, we will do Brahmananda Mimamsa, then the whole thing. Om Bhishasmadvata Pavate Bhishodeti Suryaha Bhishasmadagnischendrascha Mrutyurdhavati Panchamaite Saishanandasya Mimagam Sa Bhavate Yuvasyat Sadhu Yuvadhyayakaha आशिष्ठो दृढिष्ठो बलिष्ठः तस्येयं पृथिवी सर्वा वित्तस्य पूर्णा स्यात् स एको मानुष आनन्दः ते शतं मानुष आनन्दाः स एको मनुष्यगन्धर्वाणामानन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य चाकामः तस्य ते शतं मनुष्यगन्धर्वाणामानन्दाः स एको देवगन्धर्वाणामानन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य चाकामः तस्य ते शतं देवगन्धर्वाणामानन्दाः स एकः पितॄणां चिरलोकलोकानामानन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य चाकामः तस्य ते शतं पितॄणां चिरलोकलोकानामानन्दाः स एक आजानजानां देवानामानन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य चाकामः तस्य ते शतमाजानजानां देवानामानन्दाः स एकः कर्मदेवानां देवानामानन्दः ये कर्मणा देवानपि यन्ते श्रोत्रियस्य चाकामः तस्य ते शतं कर्मदेवानां देवानामानन्दाः स एको देवानामानन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य चाकामः तस्य ते शतं देवानामानन्दाः स एक इन्द्रस्यानन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य चाकामः तस्य ते शतमिन्द्रस्यानन्दाः स एको बृहस्पतेरानन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य चाकामः तस्य ते शतं बृहस्पतेरानन्दाः स एकः प्रजापतेरानन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य चाकामः तस्य ते शतं प्रजापतेरानन्दाः स एको ब्रह्मण आनन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य चाकामः तस्य स यश्चायं पुरुषे यश्चासावादित्ये स एकः स य एवंविद अस्माल्लोकात् प्रेत्य एतमन्नमयमात्मानमुपसङ्क्रामते एतं प्राणमयमात्मानमुपसङ्क्रामते एतं मनोमयमात्मानमुपसङ्क्रामते एतं विज्ञानमयमात्मानमुपसङ्क्रामते एतमानन्दमयमात्मानमुपसङ्क्रामते तदप्येष श्लोको भवते यतो वाचो निवर्तन्ते अप्राप्य मनसा सह आनन्दं ब्रह्मणो विद्वान् न बिभेति कुतश्च नेति एतगं हवावनतपदे किमहगं साधुना करवं किमहं पापमकरवमिति स य एवं विद्वानेते आत्मानग् स्पृणुते उभे वैष एते आत्मानग् स्पृणुते य एवं वेद इत्युपनिषद ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः ॐ शान्तिः 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 ओमद श्री कृष्ण यजुर्वेदान्तर्गत तैत्तिरीय आरण्यकान्तर्गत तैत्तिरीय उपनिषद ओम यस्माज्जातं जगत्सर्वं यस्मिन्नेव प्रणीयते येनेदं धार्यते चैव तस्मै ज्ञानात्मने नमः येरिमे गुरुभिः पूर्वं वदवाक्यप्रमाणतः व्याख्याताः सर्ववेदान्ताः तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहं तैत्तिरीयकसारस्य मयाचार्यप्रसादतः विस्पष्टार्थरचयिनां हि व्याख्येयं सम्प्रणीयते शान्तिमन्त्रः ॐ शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मावादिशं ऋतमवादिशं सत्यमवादिशं तन्मामावेत् तद्वक्तारमावेत् आवेन्माम् आवेद्वक्तारम् ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ अथ द्वितीया ब्रह्मानन्दवल्ली शान्तिमन्त्रः ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ अथ षष्ठोऽनुवाकः ॐ असन्नेव स भवते असद्ब्रह्मेति वेद चेद अस्ति ब्रह्मेति चेद्वेद सन्तमेनन्ततो विदुरिते तस्यैष एव शारीर आत्मा यः पूर्वस्य अथातोऽनुप्रश्नाः उता विद्वानमुं लोकं प्रेत्य कश्चन गच्छति आहो विद्वानमुं लोकं प्रेत्य कश्चित् समश्नुता सोकामयता बहुस्यां प्रजायेयेते सदबोधप्यत सतपस्तप्त्वा इदकं सर्वमसृजत यदिदं किञ्च तत्सृष्ट्वा तदेवानुप्राविशत तदनुप्रविश्य सच्चत्यच्चाभवत् निरुक्तं च निरुक्तं च निलयनं च निलयनं च विज्ञानं च विज्ञानं च सत्यं चानृतं च सत्यमभवत् यदिदं किञ्च तत्सत्यमित्याचक्षते तदप्येष श्लोको भवति ॐ शान्तिः 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 Vedantic understanding needs a very subtle, beautiful, totally truth-oriented intellect, freed from all the lower koshas or the outer life. That is achieved through our continuous desirous means desiring this type of intellect when we live a normal, ordinary, dharmic life filled with our sadhanas of the bhakti, karma yoga, and yoga sadhana ityadi. When we do those things consciously for sufficient period of time to gain that type of intellect, and we get it with that subtle intellect, the Vedantic Vicharana can consistently happen, can fruitfully happen to give us the deeper, intricate understandings which the Shruti Mata and Guru are trying to explain to us regarding the reality as well as the relative world and their relation. So may we all try for that. Now we are in the Taittiriya Upanishad Adhyanam. Exactly today, 1 year is done. 27th April we started. 26th today. So 365 days we have tried going on. So Ishvara Krupa, Bhagavad Krupa, every day we are sitting, chanting the mantras, try to ponder over them with Bhashyam. Some little thing we are able to get. So yesterday's discussion was about Pravesha Shruti. It was all the ways of Bhagavan's entry, wherein like an object enters into the place where it is not there. That type of all entries are rejected. Then Hantah Tarhi Anarthakatvat Abohyametad Vakyam Tat Sruštva Tadevanupravishaditi. Then the Vakya being meaningless, we should select and delete it too. This is what is the Purvapakshi's word. Became angry, frustrated, because any type of entry of Bhagavan is talking into this world, they were all rejected or denied by the Siddhanti. So he just feels Siddhanti also interested in removing this sentence. So let me also propose. But Siddhanti's only goal is to establish the Shastra Jnanam more than anything else. Then those who are understanding it and practice it, they get moksha. It is their choice. Siddhanta's work is to establish a Siddhanta according to the Shastra, whether others listen or not. He is not obliged to anyone. Therefore, he sticks to Shastra only. So thus he becomes a little annoyed and angry. Then he scolds, Kimartham asthane charcha. What are you doing? You came here to study Shastra and you are saying, let us delete one sentence from Shastra. Even one word, one letter also you cannot delete from the Shastra. For your convenience, because of your ignorance or non-understanding, if one by one thing, if you start changing, nothing of the original Shastra remains. Shastra is always 100% undoubtedly correct. Full stop. How it is correct, it is you who has to supposed to understand it. You change your mind and intellect. Don't change the Shastra. You become subtle. You bring your ability of thinking and inquiry in as many as possible ways as possible so that the Shastra said thing is understood and accepted. Having said so, Bhagavan started saying the Siddhanti Anya Arthatvat. The purpose and meaning of this whole discussion is something else. अन्यार्थत्वाद मीन्स अर्थ अलग है यहाँ का उद्देश्य ही अलग है of saying the Tadevanupravishat. It's a very beautiful, very cutest explanation to this frustration of the Purvapakshi and all of us also. We literally took it. Tadevanupravishata. So having created, the Bhagavan entered. But when the entry was rejected by all means, like Purvapakshi, we also get a frustration or the doubt. How to understand this sentence? Then to explain it the way Bhashyakara, the Siddhanti has taken up the steps are beautiful. First one is the whole context reference is different. Here the topic as well as the purpose of the topic. Which topic is being discussed, what is the purpose of it, that has to be kept in mind. Accordingly, we have to understand the meaning of the sentences, not literally, as if Pravesha, Tadevanu Pravishat, matlab he has entered. Don't take it that way, the grammatical meaning. The literal meaning of it you should not take. Anya arthatvat. Then he started telling where we started all our this study or the journey. There are two things. First one is what is the subject context discussed. Second is purpose. Subject discussed is Brahmavidapnoti param. तदेशाभ्युक्तो सत्यं ज्ञानमनन्तं ब्रह्म यो वेद निहितं गुहायाम. This is the topic we are developing. Stick to that topic. And what is the purpose of that? The purpose of the entire topic and the entire Upanishad is to take this disciple into Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam Sthiti. To take this disciple to get identified with his own Brahma Atma Swarupa, which is hidden in his own cave of Guha of heart. That is the purpose. Keep that in mind. You keep that in mind. Keeping that in mind only, that the Shruti Mata has developed the topic. And then all types of understandings which take us to this type of reaching, those understandings are correct. Whether the Paramatma entered or not, secondary. Don't try to literally feel his entry. If you literally try to feel entry, then he has never entered. If he has not entered, then the Shruti Mata said that sentence, then we have to deny the Shruti. There is no bigger crime than denying the Shruti Mata for a Siddhanti or Purva Pakshi or Adhyatmika Sadhaka. How to reconcile? Bring the reference to context and the purpose. So here the discussion is about the Brahma Tattva. What is said is the knower of Brahman obtains ultimate, and the Brahma Swarupa Lakshana are Satyam Jnanam Anantam, and that Swarupa of Brahma Asatyam Jnanam Anantam is Guhayam Nihitam. Already said it was in the beginning. Then Yo Veda, whoever reaches to that Guha and identifies himself with Guha Nihitam, identifies with the Guha Nihitam, Satyam Jnanamanantam Brahma, Saha Apnoti Param Ashnute Sarvan Kama. He will achieve the ultimate, and that ultimate achievement is the fulfillment as if of all the desires of all beings of all times. So, therefore, what is the purpose? What is the context? Context is Brahma Prapti. Purpose is taking further Brahma Prapti, the every of this sadhaka, student of Taittiriya Upanishad, into that guha of the heart. And that is how the Shruti Mata also has developed the topic. You follow that. I will explain to you how it all has started. Once these three sentences are made, now what happened? The Karana Brahma expressed as the Karya Akashadi was said. Up to what? Annamaya Antam. Now when आकाश से लेकर अन्नमय तक कार्य ब्रह्म से उत्पन्न हुआ है, when it was being said by the Shruti Mata, what she is already aiming at by doing so? She is already started taking the being sadhaka towards that place where the Brahman is upalabdha or upalabdhi sthana. भगवान आदि शंकरा भाष्यम ही says कि ब्रह्म स्वरूप अनुगमाय च. See, ब्रह्म स्वरूप अनुगमाय. Our own swarupa is Brahma only. That Brahma swarupa we are all pervading. But this is theoretical. But we need to experientially have the Brahman as ourselves. Therefore, what Shruti Mata, after mentioning these three sentences, did was Brahma Swarupa Anugamaya. This is the most beautiful sentence. ब्रह्म प्राप्ति के लिए ही ये ब्रह्म को कारण आकाश आदि जो हमको महसूस होते हैं उनको कार्य के रूप में प्रतिपादन किया. Somewhere we have to believe and start, is it not? To start, we have to believe. If you don't believe, then you don't begin only. Even two people, when they have quarreled, if they have to reconcile, they not believe in each other and the meeting? Then only they start discussing and then they come out with the solution. If the two countries have to have any business or any trade, first they have to believe that we can do. If you believe only, possibility is not there of achieving it because you don't take the initiative. Therefore, ultimately, Brahman alone is there. Other than Brahman, everything is mithya. ये सब बाद में होएगा. But first of all, are you महसूसिंग or not the sky, akasha इत्यादि? Yes. You see the akasha, you see the things hanging in the akasha. Yeah. Now, this Brahman is the Atma or the source or the substratum from where the akasha, the karya have come. So, who is Karana? The Brahma. What is karya? Akasha. Why all this discussion started? Brahma Swarupa Anugamaya. All these hypothesis. ब्रह्म स्वरूप को हमें पहचानने के लिए, पहचानवाने के लिए, to make us अनुगमना or realize the Brahma, this discussion started. Don't forget it. Don't get lost also in any other topic or any of your own questions or doubts. Till for whatever the purpose Shruti Mata is teaching, that purpose you reach to. When you are following Shruti, you follow Shruti. You don't bring any others' opinions, don't bring your opinions also. Or sometimes even your question is very genuine, still have patience, hold that question, follow what Shruti Mata says, and who knows, while following what Shruti Mata says, your question may get answer while following. If I don't follow, your question may not get answered. So here, then we will remove, either you prove that Brahman entered into the created world or you remove the sentence. These are the insistences of the Purva Bakshi. The Siddhanti says all the Uddesham is not to literally understand those sentences. The purpose is to reach the sadhaka to Brahman. A process is adopted by Shruti Mata. You stick to that one, then whether reached or not, वो बाद में पता चलेगा. The answer is reached because Shruti Mata said. Doesn't reach because Brahman is everywhere. Whether he reached or not, again is not purpose. Brahma's purpose is Brahma Sarupa Anugamaya. Because by proving that he reached or by not proving he is reached, you are not going to get anything. We have to know what is the purpose we are gaining. Like in every time, throughout the day, whatever we do, we should know what's the purpose that is achieved through that. A purposeless action is called not an action, it's a foolish behavior. Mudhata. Even eating the food, even going somewhere, even jogging. First, the purpose should be clear in the mind. Like when I sit for japa, I must know for what purpose I am sitting. Like I am now in the class, I must be very clear for what purpose I am here in this class as a speaker. Here also, Brahma Swarupa Anugamarthameva, entire Upanishadic literature has come in the this Taittiriya Upanishad, especially the first Valli when it has trained us through Upasana to some extent of degree of subtlety. Second Valli has begun only to take us to the Brahma Swarupa by saying first of all the Sutra Vakya, only the knower of Brahman obtains everything. Then Brahman is Satyam Jnanamananta Swarupa. That Satya Jnana Ananta Lakshana Yukta Brahma is Guhayam Nihitam. Then that Guhayam Nihitam Brahma should not the Shruti Mata take us to? She is taking. You follow her. Not any other your own question and answer which distracts. Some questions and answers related to the main topic of Shruti Mata we will entertain. The other things which are doubtful, which are not needed to be answered right now, those get answered or dissolved when the main thing is followed. We won't entertain now. That dignity, that clarity, the Guru Siddhanti Shastra has. And promise is this, your every doubt is cleared. Sometimes the answer is given, sometimes the question itself proved to be wrong, or sometimes a negotiable answer is given. By saying that purpose is this. Like the mother can never bring the moon for the child. But every day she says, the mama, I'll bring, eat food. No, you can't be logical thinking. Can the mother bring, how come she can speak lies and she's really misguiding the child by speaking? If he also becomes like that tomorrow. And Beku, that is not the purpose. Purpose is she has to feed the child, that's it. But when the child grows, he may question. If the child really grows, he will not question her. He'll understand. Mother has given me the food, has told me that she'll bring the moon only to feed me. He will not ask also, Mama, when I was young, you told you will bring the moon, you didn't bring. He will not, no common sense child will ask. Don't worry about it. Here also. So, one by one we are seeing Brahma Swarupa Anugamaya. Okay, Akashadi Annamayantam Karyam Pradarshitam. First point. Why this Akasha Tasmadva Tasmad Atmana Akasha Sambhuta Akashadvayu up to Annamaya Kosha? Why it was Pradarshitam? Why that Karya is explained for Brahma Anugamanam? For that it is a first step, not the last. लास्ट तो हृदय आकाश में ले जाकर दिखाएंगे. पहले तो इट इज द बिगिनिंग. दैट इज व्हाई सेस ब्रह्म स्वरूप अनुमगामाय च आकाशादि अन्नमयांतम कार्यं प्रदर्शितम ब्रह्म अनुगमः च आरब्धः. द ब्यूटी इज दिस. In this way, going towards the Brahman also has begun. Brahma Anugamaha cha arabdha, not antaha. Brahma Anugama is not done. Brahma Anugama finally only through experience. But for that, the first step is from the Paramatma, Akasha Adi Prakarena, the Annamaya Aya. So our drushti now is brought to our own Annamaya Kosho. Okay, Tatra first Annamayat Atmanaha. It is to be, now Shruti Mata said, Ki Tasmad Ba Etasmad Annarasam, sorry, पृथिव्या ओषधयः ओषधिभ्यो अन्नम् अन्नात् पुरुषः स वा एष पुरुषः अन्नरसमयः तस्य इदमेव शिरः अयं दक्षिणपक्षः अयम् उत्तरपक्षः अयमात्मा idam pucham pratishtha. Actually, we have not done the practice. Therefore, such type of doubts, questions come. So, from the Akasha, through the Oshadi, through the Annam, this Annamaya has become, and this Annamaya has got 5 limbs. So, this 5-limbed Annamaya Kosha, you become aware of first. Okay? You become aware of this 5-limbed Annamaya Kosha. Then refer back. Where from this 5-limbed Annamaya Kosha came? Annarasa. Where from Annarasa came step by step? Annarasa came from the Anna. Anna came from the Oshadhi. Oshadhi came from Prithvi. Prithvi came from the Jala or Jala. It came from the Agni. Agni. Agni came from Vayu. Vayu came from the Akasha. Where from the Akasha came? Tasmadva etasmad brahmanah atmanah akasha. Therefore, what is this Annamaya now? The same Brahma who is Atma, who through the Akasha ityadi, grassify hote up to this Annamaya, it became. Therefore, accept this Annamaya only as Brahma now, or the Atma. In this way, when we understand Atma as Brahma and Annamaya Kosha as Brahma or Atma, be attentive. That is called as the Brahma or Atma Tadevanu Pravishat entered into the Annamaya Kosha. This is called the entry here. Not as you were thinking as in the normal course in the outer things where some object enters something. ऐसी बात नहीं है. So our own understanding that this Annamaya Kosha, any time it is nothing but Brahman only, that is how our totally ignorance about the Brahma Tattva, totally ignorance of the Atma Tattva is removed, replaced by the presence of Brahma and Atma Tattva, and that also this Annamaya Kosha. Because Annamaya has to be Brahman. But do we experience it now? You can never experience Annamaya as Brahma, but you have to do the bhavana. अन्नमय कोश को हम ऑब्जेक्ट के रूप में देख रहे हैं. How can the object be the Brahman? Experientially. But intellectually, we have to accept Annamaya as Brahman because it came from Oshadi Ityadi, it came from Akasha, Akasha came from Brahma. Experientially it is not. Experience तो ब्रह्म का गुहा में ही मिलेगा. But to take us there step by step, Annamaya Atma, Annamaya is said as Atma. Settle in that. So become aware of the Brahma, not experiential awareness. Upanishad Ukto. So become aware of from that Brahma or Atma, Akashadi came. That is a process. Don't question the process. Follow it, you got the result. Then become aware of Oshadhi, become aware of Anna, become of the Anna Rasa, become aware of Anna Rasa becoming Annamaya, become aware of the Pancha Limb Yukta Annamaya. Now, with becoming aware of the Annamaya with 5 limbs, look back from where it has come. These are all intellectual. It has come from Atma. Therefore, what is Annamaya? Atma. This is called as entry of Atma or Brahma into Annamaya. Tat sruštva, Annamayam sruštva, tadeva anupravishatu. In which way it is anupravishato? For a student with the teachings of his guru, the anupravishat of Brahman is taking Brahman Atma, the Annamaya kosha as the Brahma or Atma. If this pravesha in this way is not there, then when will we know the Brahman? How will we know Brahman? We will never know it. भगवान सृष्टि बनाकर छोड़ दी तो हम गफलत में रह जाते हैं. वेयर इज ब्रह्मन एंड ऑल, विल नेवर फाइंड हिम. Therefore, for us to make find him, that the Bhagavan has entered into the Annamaya in such a way that the Guru teaches us, beta अब देखो अन्नमय भी परब्रह्म ही है, बिलीव करो. बट अन्नमय एज एन आत्मा इज रॉन्ग थिंग. Belief is right, experientially wrong. Right now, till we experience the Brahma actual as Satyam Jnanavanantam in the Hridaya Guha. Otherwise, one side we say Brahman Satyam Jnanavanantam and this Annamaya is Asatyam. It is Jadam and it is Santam. How can that be this? भैया ये प्रोसेस है, तुरंत रिजेक्ट मत करो, धीरे धीरे हमारे साथ चलो. This patient endeavor is called as spiritual unfoldment. First step is understood. Is it not? Tasmadvaya Tasmadatmana Akasha up to Annamaya with 5 limbs. Why Shruti Mata said you question? That is to prove or to bring to our notice that Brahman only is the Annamaya. For what? For Brahma Anugama. Is the Brahma Anugama finished here? No. Beginning has happened. This itself in the Upanishad called as Pravesha. Tadevanu Pravesha. Now the next step. Is this Annamaya kosha totally independent, or it has got something else on which it depends on? Is there something subtler than this which is permeating it? Very much it is there. That's called as the Pranamaya kosha. So by creating Annamaya, that's Sruštva. By bringing our identity that the Brahman alone is this Annamaya kosha, Tadeva Anupravishad ho gaya. Again, same thing in the second level. For the Annamaya kosha, there is a cause other than it, subtle than it is Pranamaya. So we have to become aware of the Pranamaya kosha of ours first. Then we should understand clearly, thoroughly, that each and every part and particle of our Annamaya kosha is permeated by this Pranamaya kosha. वो हमको ध्यान में महसूस करना है. Then a question comes. Then among these two, who is cause and who is effect? The Pranamaya is cause, the Annamaya is effect, or Pranamaya is Mukhya, not Annamaya. Then is it not correct to shift our identity from the Aham Dehosmi to Aham Pranaha Asmi? Because the Pranamaya is more real than the Annamaya. अन्नमय इज द प्राणमय इज द आत्मा ऑफ द अन्नमय. ये प्राणमय नहीं होता तो अन्नमय रहेगा ही नहीं. Therefore, what the Srushti did, therefore, Tat Sruštva created the Pranamaya. Tadevanu Pravishado, he entered the Pranamaya. What is the meaning of entry of Bhagavan in Pranamaya? Our identity of the Atma or Brahman is with Pranamaya Kosha now. So second stage we have reached from the Anna to the Prana. This is called Pravesha. And still Pranamaya also is Jada. It is also Anatma. It also doesn't fit in the definition of Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Yet, as the steps in the process, at this moment, for the Brahma Anugama, we have to reach. You can't say कि 30 किलोमीटर दूर में एक गांव जाना है तो यू आर क्रॉसिंग द विलेजेस इन बिटवीन. अरे आप इधर से क्यों ले जा रहे हो, हमको तो वो गांव जाना. और प्यारे, दिस इज अ वे टू रीच देयर. वी आर ओनली क्रॉसिंग वन बाय वन प्लेस टू रीच. वी आर नॉट रीचिंग टू एनी प्लेस टू स्टे देयर. Unless we reach and leave, we can't go to the next. Unless we reach that next and leave, we can't go to the next. Unless in this way we go to that last place, we can't enter the village. This is the process. This is a travel. You can't say नहीं ये सब मेरे को नहीं जाना, सीधे वहां पहुंचना है. You can't. Even if you go on flight, you will have to cross those places. Only the time will be lesser, speed will be more. That's okay. In the same way, this is a process. And consciously one has to practice for some days. कि हम pranamaya kosha asmi. This is why to avoid or to reject or to go beyond aham annamaya asmi. Why aham annamaya asmi has to be done? For us to detach from all the world of other than the annamaya, the names and forms. Because हम वहाँ फंसे हुए हैं अभी. वहाँ से हमारा दृष्टि अन्नमय में लाना है. Annamaya kosha say we have to enter into the pranamaya kosha. So now what the Brahman has created now, pranamaya. Where did he enter into the pranamaya? Tat sushtva tadeva anupravishat. And this anupravishat is the Shruti and Guru Bodha. That now you take the pranamaya kosha as Atma, as a process. Now follow the same. That is what he says. Annamayad atmanah anyaha antaraha atma pranamayaha. Then tad antaha manomayaha. Then vijnanamayaha. Iti. Here we have to pause. Iti vijnana guhayam praveshitaha. So here vijnanamaya koshe praveshitaha actually. But that vijnanamaya kosha again is vijnanamaya guha. Because refer to the first point. Jo Veda Nihitam Guhayam. So where the Brahman has to be found in the Guha, and in all Vedanta Shastras, the Guha means the Vijnanamaya Kosha Guha only. Okay. What is Vijnanamaya Kosha? For some time we have to think about. Vijnanamaya Kosha is that place where, be attentive, individuality expresses most conspicuously. Individuality gets the Chidamasa for getting enlivened. Therefore, that individuality gets the ability to become the Karta. That individuality born in Vijnanamaya Kosha and given the ability to become knower and doer, Jnata and Karta, that Vijnanamaya Kosha Antargata Aham Jiva only, through the Prana, through the Mana, through Deha, he was getting lost in the world so far as the samsara. But that Vijnanamaya Kosha existing, that Jiva, instead of becoming extroverted like this and becoming samsari, when he becomes introverted, then that Vijnanamaya Kosha Karta, instead of becoming the Karma Karta of the Bahya Samsara, he becomes the Sadhana Karta of the Andar or inner Sadhana. Therefore, simply saying two things, he go beyond Annaprana Mano and enter into Vijnana, then use that Vijnanamaya Kosha's ability of knowing not for anything out, but for inside. पहले क्या करना है, हमको विज्ञानमय कोश से तादात्म्य करना है. We already shown Annamaya, then come to Pranamaya, then from there to Manomaya, then from there to Vijnanamaya. So who am I now? I am not Pranamaya, Annamaya and Manomaya. That ascertainment we have to develop. That is what we are doing sadhana. We have never started sadhana. Not even we are listening properly or studying. That is why all the problems come. In any of the physics, chemical lab experiments, if the students are not following professors every step, literally or practically, they can't understand it. They remain where they were. In the same way, एक्चुअली हम इंटेलेक्चुअल जर्नी नहीं कर रहे हैं, साधना रूपी जर्नी नहीं कर रहे हैं, इसलिए जैसे थे वैसे ही हैं. Not only of this cut, ईशा तैत्तिरीय उपनिषद, ईश के न कट प्रश्न शुरू से हम हर एक उपनिषद लाइक ए डॉल केप्ट इन ए फॉर्म में ऐसा बैठकर हम सुन रहे हैं. We have never tried to become sadhaka, we have never tried to do the actual sadhana. We are doing sadhana which we think है sadhana. कोई जप कर रहा है, कोई पूजा कर रहा है, कोई और पारायण कर रहे हैं, that we think है sadhana. But what is sadhana indicated by Shruti Mata? That are we doing? कहाँ किया अभी तक? Then when we don't do sadhana, how can we near to the sadhya? The practical problem, we don't understand and accept it. Then we precipitate a doubt and say that my questions are not answered. The questions will never arise if you follow the sadhana as told. Have you ever done that aham annamaya asmi, not this world upasana? Have you ever done the upasana that aham pranamaya asmi? Consciously kahan kiya humne? When we really do aham pranamaya asmi, aham annamaya asmi should never be there again. It's not doing jit puja for 1 hour or half an hour and leaving the Lord and again becoming a samsari. Once I come to aham pranamayosmi, aham dehosmi should be totally rejected. Deha is not rejected. Deha asmi is rejected. Deha will be there, working with deha goes on. और देह में नहीं तो कहाँ बैठकर गुरु को सुनोगे. देह रहेगा, देह के साथ काम चलेगा, बट सटनली अहम देहोस्मि वाला चला जाना चाहिए. If we really have practiced aham prana asmi, that is expected out of us. In this way, when we do sadhana, questions will not come. Again, come back to theory. The same way, pranamayosmi to manomayosmi we have to enter. From the manomayosmi, we have to enter into the vijnanamaya asmi. So, entry of ours into aham vijnanamayosmi should be like what? कि अहम विज्ञानमय अंतर्गत चिदाभास तादात्म्ययुक्त aham वृत्ति अस्मि. This clarity should come to us. Second, for whatever the reasons of vasanas are the habits, I identifying with my pranamana deha, entering into the world, so far I was living as samsari. This clarity should come. Because of this, my external being samsari, not only the internal atma anubhuti I am not getting, but outside, because of giving undue value to these things, I am only getting troubled or kicked or given misery all the time. For some time, this aham vijnanamayosmi should think like this and be like this and become clear in the understanding. Then he himself should pose a question. Then how to avoid the samsara? How to discover Brahma? By becoming introverted. This is what I, having reached to Vijnanamaya Kosha, must start doing. And by the way, by creating the Vijnanamaya Kosha and by being told by the Guru and Shastra that Vijnanamaya Kosha is actually me, not Mano and Anna or Prana, that is called Tat Sruštva Tadeva Anupravishat. So who is doing the pravesha here? Is the Shruti pushing the Brahman or is the Brahman is ghus rahe hain? Who? I, the sadhaka, will have to make entry. The Rishi has entered. What the entry of the Rishi? He slowly, Hamannamayoasmi, Pranamayosmi to Manomayosmi, Vijnanam, he entered. Therefore, Tadevanu Pravishat. And that Rishi is Brahman only, Brahman is Rishi only. So here by saying that Brahman has created and entered, actually there would be somebody Brahman, he created something, he entered. Aisa nahi. We have to apply it to ourselves. What is that? I have to become, here the Sruštva means become aware of the Vijnanamaya Kosha. Pravishat means get identified with that Vijnanamaya Kosha. And how it should be? When I identify the Vijnanamaya Kosha, I am only the knower. I should not become the feeler or the imaginary person of the Manomaya Kosha. That means I am falling down. I should not be identified with the Pranamaya Kosha Tadatma. I will use it for the purposes wherever required. But the identity should not be there. Because again गड़बड़ हो जाएगा. एक बार अहम विज्ञानमय कोशः अस्मि हो गया, then if you come down, then you are missing, not only you are missing the Brahma Anuvagama path, we are again coming back to the samsara, lower level. That practice we have to do, not only intellectual understanding may, but actually in life. At any given moment of the day, if we have a question about who am I, or anybody asks a question, if the answers are no, I am 6 foot tall, or I am fat and I am 88 weight, 8 kilo, 80 kg, that means you are telling that fellow that you are Annamaya Kosha. If you say no, I am very hungry and thirsty, it means you are telling you are a Pranamaya Kosha. If you are saying I am full, sentimental, emotional, then you are telling you are only a Manomaya Kosha. Only when we say ki, not again I know this, I know that also, ki I am the knower of the things, that capacity is given to me. If that type of feeling comes to us every time, so I have reached to Vijnanamaya Kosha, so too the Brahman having created Vijnanamaya Kosha has entered Vijnanamaya Kosha. Tadeva Anupravisha. And this is the most important thing. What is most important? Ourselves reaching and identifying with the Vijnanamaya Kosha. Because that is the Upalabdhi Dwara for recognizing our actual identity called as Brahman. Okay. Now from slowly here, little deeper, subtler analysis starts. Once I have reached to the Vijnanamaya Kosha, be attentive. The Vijnanamaya Kosha extroverted through the Prana Annamana is samsari. Jiva. Through Raga, Desha, Kama, Krodha, all that. But the same Vijnanamaya Kosha, when he becomes introverted, then what will happen to him? In that introvertedness, be attentive. He is not extroverted. Only when with the Vijnanamaya Kosha fellow is extroverted, millions of thoughts come. When introverted ho gaya, the number of thoughts get reduced, no? The more the number of thoughts get reduced, that lesser and lesser thought, be attentive, becomes the reflecting media for the more and more happiness. That is called Anandamaya Kosha. Because already we have studied ki because of our punya karma and the dharma and upasana karma, somebody, a person or an object comes in our life because of whose presence, be attentive. Our chitta becomes such a specific instrument, or the chitta vritti becomes such a specific thing in which the Brahma Ananda reflects as Ananda. You have already studied it. Refer to that knowledge here. Finally, Ananda belongs to whom? Brahman only. That Brahma Ananda reflected is called as Ananda Maya Kosha. Reflected where? In a specific finer vritti. Which vritti? The Antarmukha vritti, not Bahirmukha vritti. Therefore, the inquirer Vijnanamaya Kosha, when he becomes Antarmukha, then that Vijnanamaya Kosha vritti only becomes Anandamaya Kosha vritti, in which the Ananda of the Brahman expresses. This is what is here we have to do. So what is said here? Guhayam nihita means what? What is guha? Remember that guha is nothing but the thoughts. The mind dichotomized as trichotomized as aham, idam and the contact. Jnatru jnana jneya रूप में चित्त बनना ही गुहा है. और चित्त भी नहीं कहो, ब्रह्म परमात्मा ही चित्त बनना, चित्त ही ज्ञातृ ज्ञान ज्ञेय बनना इस गुहा. And that guha may say, be attentive. When the Jnaya Vastu has become Mana, Indriya, Deha, and outer world, this Jnata became the knower of the outer world. Then he became the desirer of outer world. Then he became the pursuer and enjoyer of the outer world. In short, he became a samsara. Is it not? Once he became introverted here, what's happening? Our attention is only on the inner, the jnata, jneya and jnana. There we are told the Brahman as a chitta, chitta as triputi, triputi as samsara. Now what you do there, the triputi which is there, if by some reason, if you can drop, in the dropping of the vritti, be attentive. When we have become antarmukha, the antarmukha vritti reflected Brahmananda as Ananda. At that stage, that is called Anandamaya Kosha. Depending on the refinement of the antarmukha vritti, the Ananda has got three grades: Priya, Moda, as well as Pramoda. This Priya, Moda, Pramoda of Anandamaya having their own base as Ananda Atma. Clear? That Ananda Atma again has its substratum as Brahma Pucham Pratishtha. So who is the final Pratishtha? Brahma only. What is Sarupa of the Brahma? Ananda only. That Brahma Sarupa Ananda has become Ananda, the base for the Anandamaya Kosha. That base Ananda only expressing as Priya and Moda and Pramoda, depending on the fineness and subtlety of the Antarmukhata, Antarmukha Vritti. So this Vijnanamaya, instead of going outside, when he was made to go inside, there also, when his vritti is made finer and finer, Ananda of the Brahma is expressing as Ananda and expressing as Priya Moda Pramoda. Then this Vijnanamaya Kosha alone will be told, if this vritti, how much ever finer it may be, giving such an Ananda reflected, if that vrittis also are dropped, then what happens? Ananda Maya alone becomes Ananda Brahma. So therefore, what is happening here? Antarmukhata is being brought into our notice. That is the meaning of Tadeva Anupravishatu. So in the Vijnanamaya Kosha, in the inquiry, after becoming introverted from extroverted, the vritti Ananda, when it is made as Brahmananda by dropping the vritti, there the Brahma Prapti happens to us. These are all practically to be done on the seat of meditation. हम theory सोच रहे हैं, कुछ कुछ जगह theory easily समझ में आता है. But some are the places like these crucial things, practically, unless we go there, we will not have clarity. Any number of times we listen, 100,000 times also we listen, still we'll have a question and doubt. Such are the topics where practically we have to reach to. Every day when we try to reach sometime, one day definitely it will happen. So here what is said here, ki iti vijnana guhayam praveshitaha. In this way, Vijnanamaya Kosha and Vijnanamaya Guha में हमको प्रवेश कराया. What is the reaching of Vijnanamaya Guha? Where the knowledge is happening of Jnata, Jnanam, Jneya, Vritti Rupa. Which Jneya Vastu, all that we are not discussing. But that place where the Vritti Jnanam is happening. In that Vritti Jnana happening, the Jnata to rahega. The Jnata is Aham Vritti. In the Jnata Aham Vritti, Chit Paramatma is expressing as Chit Abhasa. Therefore, that Aham Vritti is becoming Jnata. Unfortunately, because of asanas, he is becoming Jnata of the outer things, then the desire Karta of the outer things, then the Karma Karta, then the outer Bhokta of the Sukha Dukkha, not Anand. Now, such Vijnanamaya Kosha, when we reach to on the seat of meditation, that is called as Nihit Guhayam Praveshitaha. Underline this word. Shruti Mata has made us enter into the Vijnanamaya Kosha. प्रोसेस अडॉप्टेड बाय हरवास मनोमय मनोमय के अंदर रहते हुए मनोमय को पूरा ऑक्यूपाई करते हुए मनोमय के हटकर एक और आत्मा है उसको विज्ञानमय कहते हैं. Now remember always the Vijnanamaya koshas, the limbs are what? Tasya Shraddhaiva Shiraha, Rutam Dakshinaha Pakshaha, Satyamuttara Pakshaha, Yogaha, that is Samadhanam Atma, Yoga Atma, then Adesha Yoga Atma, Maha Pucham Pratishta. For the Manomaya kosha, तस्य यजुरेव शिरः ऋग्दक्षिणपक्षः सामोत्तरपक्षः आदेश आत्मा अथर्वांगिरसः पुच्छं प्रतिष्ठा. These are all practically to be done. So, therefore, विज्ञानमय कोश में रहना का अर्थ क्या हुआ? श्रद्धा. श्रद्धा about Paramatma having existing within to be recognized by us. Then Rutam Dakshina Pakshaha, fully having Shraddha in what is said by the Shruti. How do we have the Shraddha, what is said by Shruti? By just following what she says. She told us, you are no more Anapranamana, you come to Vijnana level, acha. Doing it, what said by Shruti is called as Rutam Dakshina. Now be attentive here. Satyamuttara. When with Shraddha we studied Shastra and practiced it, what it leads to? Samadhanam. What is the samadhanam? The entire vritti nirodha happens. Means what? The mind becomes so shanta. That is called as the yoga atma. Yoga means samadhanam. Samadhanam is total pacification of the vrittis. Because the vrittis come millions only when we are at the manomaya level. Because man ka job hai project karna. But in the buddhi, with the shraddha on the shastra, having studied it, exactly when we live the life, all the unwanted projections are ejected. Therefore, there the yoga atma. That yoga atma person no more lives for his individuality. Mahaha pucham pratishta. Such individual at the Vijnana Kosha, when he is living this way, because his Atma is absolutely Samadhana Yukta Yoga, that itself becomes the later on are capable of reaching to the next level of Anandamaya Kosha. उस विज्ञानमय कोश ही को ही उनके भीतर रहने वाला रिफ्लेक्टेड आनंद कॉल्ड एज आनंदमय कोश को दिखा सकते हैं. If we don't reach to Vijnanamaya Kosha, and even after reaching Vijnanamaya Kosha, if we don't focus attention inside to the Ananda to be inside, the Vijnanamaya Kosha Vichara seeks for Sukhara Ananda through Prana Annamana outside. He is a samsari. That's what we were leaving so far. From there, we have become now introverted. In that introvertedness, coming up to Vijnanamaya. When we come to Vijnanamaya, follow these three limbs of Shraddhaiva Shiraha, Rutam Dakshinaha Pakshaha, Satyam Uttara Paksha. The consequence of that should be seen in a Yoga Atma. Yoga is quietness and calmness of the vrittis. And to that, what can help us? Mahapucham Pratishta. Maha ka kya help lena humko? We are part of the total, we must serve the total. In this attitude of Mahapucham Pratishta, and how to serve the total, so Shastra will tell. Therefore, study the Shastra. That is called Rutam Dakshina Paksha. But I must have faith for the Shastra, therefore Tasya Shraddhaiva Shiraha. तो शिर रूपी श्रद्धा से ऋतम रूपी शास्त्र को पढ़कर सत्यम रूपी प्रैक्टिस करने से हमको आदेश सारी योग रूपी समाधान रूपी आत्मा बनता है. दैट इज अ फुलफिलमेंट ऑफ विज्ञानमय कोश. बीइंग देयर एंड व्हाट वी हैव टू डू इज दिस. And the support for the Vijnanamaya Kosha to do all these four is Mahapucham. Having lived this way for some time, then this Vijnanamaya Kosha is shown. कि देखो, when you have become Samadhana, in that Samadhana Chitta, the Ananda is getting reflected more and more. And the three grades of more and more Ananda coming is Priyamoda, Pramoda. At that time, the Vijnanamaya itself has become Anandamaya. Then to that Vijnanamaya, it is shown. See, when the thought is purified and pacified, how the different grades of Ananda is coming. And to that Vijnanamaya only said, when the thought itself is dropped, then what will happen? You will see the thought free, not Anandamaya Kosha Ananda, but the pure Brahma Ananda. And Ananda is an experience. आनंद में कोई करता नहीं है, साधक करता है, कर्ता साधक है. साधक रूपी कर्ता, कर्ता रूपी साधक आर इन विज्ञानमय कोश. Annamaya is not sadhaka nor karta. Pranamaya is not sadhaka or karta. Manomaya also is not sadhaka or karta. Anandamaya also is not sadhaka or karta. Ananda is anubhuti. That Ananda Anubhuti comes to Vijnanamaya Kosha Karta. For that Anandamaya Anubhuti only this fellow is living. But he thinks that Ananda is outside, he is running outside. That was a state of samsara. Now through the Upanishad's guidance, he has come to Vijnanamaya level, is Karta. Then there, by pacifying the vrittis, like what as said by the Shastra, when I live life, then the tension, agitation, less a calm, quiet vritti will be there. In that, the great contentment, don't you experience it? Exactly what Shastra said, or whatever your boss, somebody said, when you have done it, has not the mana become very shanta or the vritti? And that shanta vritti mein, is there not a ananda? That Ananda is of Brahma, but it has become Anandamaya Kosha Ananda now because that Ananda is reflected in that Shanta Vritti. How did the Shanta Vritti come? Because you have done the duty. And who is the one who did the duty? The one who is not identified with the Pranamana Anna. तो अन्न प्राण मन से नहीं तादात्म्य करने वाला विज्ञानमय कोश ने ये किया, करना चाहिए in fact. So I come to Vijnanamaya Kosha, I study Shastra with Shraddha, I do what is said by Shastra. By that, my mind is so pacified. Mind here means Vritti. In that calm, quiet Vritti, Samadhana Yukta Vritti, the Ananda Brahma expresses as Ananda in three grades. That's called Anandamaya Kosha. So then same Vijnanamaya Kosha, now कोशात्मक आनंद के बजाय ब्रह्म आनंद को पाने के लिए उस वृत्ति को भी जब वो छोड़ देगा, then pure Brahmananda will come. When it transcends that vritti also. That is what said here. Tatra cha anandamaya vishishtaha atma pradarshitaha. So having reached to Vijnanamaya Kosha, to that Vijnanamaya Kosha, sadhak ko, chidabhasa yukta hamrutti ko, who has become jnata now, for him the anandamaya vishishta atma pradarshitaha. Not the Ananda Brahma, but Vishishta Ananda. What is the Visheshata of Ananda? Priya Moda Pramoda. And what is Priya? Ishta Darsha, Ishta Vastu or Vyakti Darshanam. What is Moda? Ishta Vastu Prapti. What is Pramoda? Ishta Vastu Prapti to our own satisfaction. No, these are all things happening outside, but their consequences are on the vrittis inside. And in those vrittis, the inner Brahma Ananda is reflecting. He is shown that. सो आनंदमय विशिष्ट आत्मा प्रदर्शित. उसके बाद क्या हुआ? अतः परम, आफ्टर दैट, विशिष्ट आनंद को बताकर अतः परम, व्हाट डिड द श्रुति डू, कि अतः परम आनंदमय लिंग अधिगम द्वारेण, आनंदमय लिंग अधिगम द्वारेण आनंद विवृद्धि अवसान आत्मा ब्रह्म पुच्छम प्रतिष्ठा सर्व विकल्पास्पदः बट निर्विकल्पः अस्यामेव गुहायाम् अधिगन्तव्यः इति तत्प्रवेशः प्रविकल्प्यते, यस, प्रकल्प्यते. This is a another next level of the thing to understand. So from the Vijnanamaya Kosha, when we turn inside, not outside, the Vishishta Ananda is shown to us. Now, this Vishishta Ananda is Linga. Linga for what? The presence of Brahmananda inside. Okay? That to take our attention to Brahmananda, the Vijnanamaya Kosha is shown the gradation of Anandas. So what was the gradation? Tasya प्रियमेव शिरः. देखो, इष्ट वस्तु दर्शन से तुमको प्रिय हो रहा है कि नहीं, वही आनंदमय कोश का सिर है. देन मोदो दक्षिण पक्ष. The Vijnanamaya Kosha is shown by the Shruti Mata. When the Ishta Vastu Prapti Huva, then you had the more Ananda. It is Modaha. Then the Ishtavastu Prapti happened to you as you wanted. When it happened, see the Ananda, it is called as Pramodaha. It is more than other two. All these three are stationed where? Ananda Atma, the basic Ananda. Now to this basic Ananda, what is the substratum? Brahma Pucham Pratishtha. Our attention is drawn this way to that Pucha Rupi Brahma Swarupa. These are all on the meditation seat. Having reached the Vijnanamaya Kosha, having become the knower, in that Vijnanamaya Kosha knower, which is no more Vijnanamaya Kosha, but it is called as the Vijnanamaya Guha. In that Guha, the Vritti reflected Ananda is shown, and that Vritti, if it is less pure, then it has got Priya, more pure it is Moda, more it is Pramoda. Then we are shown, these are all the Parabrahmananda only expressed through Vritti. Oh Vijnanamaya, can you drop the Vritti and see? The moment that Vijnanamaya does that one, dropping of Vritti, immediately the Vritti Rahita, Shuddha, Nirvikalpa, Nirvishishta, Brahmanubhuti as my own self, that happens to that Vijnanamaya Kosha Sadhaka. So far, the one was doing sadhana. Therefore, though our goal is Brahma Swarupa, but the finding of Brahma Swarupa happens only in Vijnanamaya Kosha, because Vijnanamaya Kosha Jiva alone can be the Jnata. That Vijnanamaya Kosha Jnata only becomes Bhokta later on of the Anandamaya Kosha, depending on various karmas. When he becomes Bhokta, that time he is not Jnata or Karta, he is only enjoying. But we are not here to become the Bhokta of the Anandamaya Ananda. We are here to discover our own Swarupa as Brahma. So that Vijnanamaya is shown. Oh my dear, Priyamoda, Pramoda, tumko aa gaya na? And they're all reflected Ananda in the specific finer vrittis. Now, can you drop that vritti? Can you detach from that vritti? If you can do it immediately, vritti mein reflected Ananda nahi, pure Brahmananda you will directly touch. And that is me. For this sake, the pravesha parikalpitaha. Actually, pravesh nahi hua. But if this way, if it is not explained, then we will go on searching for Brahman everywhere except where he is available. That's called samsara. Everybody is searching Brahmananda only, but they are searching outside. It will never be available. It is only Guhayam Nihita. But in the Guha, once the Brahman is discovered, Vrittirahita Shuddha, that Brahman alone is everywhere. That is what is found. So here we see कि अतः परम, उसके बाद आनंदमय लिंग अधिगम द्वारेण. सो आनंदमय क्या हुआ? एक लिंग हुआ। लिंग किसके लिए? पर ब्रह्म है ऐसे मानने के लिए। सो दिस आनंदमय लिंग को पार करने से पर ब्रह्म मिलता है। सो आनंदमय लिंग को पार करने के लिए द ग्रेडेशन ऑफ आनंद इज शोन। शिर में प्रिय है, उत्तर पक्ष में मोद है, दक्षिण पक्ष में प्रमोद है। दे आर इंक्रीजिंग ग्रेडेशन ऑफ हैप्पीनेस। प्रिय, our attentions are brought there. Then for all these three, the base is Ananda Atma. Okay. उसके ऊपर भी, even for the basic Ananda of these three, there is Pucham hai, which is Brahma. Brahma Pucham Pratishtha. Bring your attention to that. That Brahma is you. That Brahman is actual Ananda. The other Anandas are Anandamaya. वृत्त्यात्मक आनंद आनंदमय कोश का निर्वृत्तिक निर्विशेष प्योर आनंद स्वरूप is the lakshana satyam jnanam anantam brahma of that brahman. So in this way asyam eva, now listen carefully. Hmm. आनंद विवृद्धि आनंदमय लिंग अधिगम द्वारेण. सो आनंदमय कोश जो लिंग बना है उसका पार करके ब्रह्म को पाने के लिए आनंद विवृद्धि अवसान आत्मा. आनंद का विवृद्धि होते होते अवसान आत्मा क्या है उसका? ब्रह्म पुच्छम प्रतिष्ठा. ब्रह्म इज अ पुच्छम. इट इज शोन देयर. एंड व्हाट इज द ब्रह्म पुच्छम? सर्व विकल्प आस्पद बट निर्विकल्प. That Brahman is the substratum for the Anandamaya, Vijnanamaya, Mano Pranamaya ityadi. But by itself there is a Nirvikalpata. It is homogeneous, one experience only, not as any object, but I am that Brahman subject. So that therefore Asyam eva guhayam adhigantavyaha. In this way, in the Vijnanamaya kosha only, through understanding and through focusing our attention inside, that the Brahma can be found. Therefore, iti tat pravesha prakalpyate. Tat pravesha prakalpyate. Is it not? Now the continuation of this to clear one or two doubts. One, कि नहीं अन्यत्र उपलभ्यते ब्रह्मा. In any other place, the Brahma is not available because Brahma is nirvisheshatvat. Okay. Satyam Jnanam Anantam are the Lakshana of the Brahma. Point one. They are not Visheshanas of the Brahma. That Lakshana Yukta Brahma can never be found in any other place, or that Nirvishesha Brahma cannot be found anywhere. Why? Because Visheshanam, Vishesha Sambandha hi Upalabdhi Hetuhu. An object and its Vishesha alone is the means for discovering that object. Think about it. थोड़ा ध्यान देना. An object with some Vishesha is the only way to discover that object. Anything you take, like a person. No, you have seen a person. You ask somebody who is he. He is a human being. Are? I can see that you will not say. He is 5.5 feet tall. That also I know. I'm not asking who is that person. Okay, you ask that way. Then he, you know that Mr. That general secretary of that particular organization, Mr. So and so, his brother. The moment it is said, immediately we can recognize it because some Vishesha is told. Be careful. In the whole world, every knowledge happens because that thing of the world has some Vishesha. Brahma is Nirvishesha. You cannot विशेष स्पेसिफाई इट विथ देशा कि इस जगह है उस जगह नहीं है. काल कि इस काल में उस काल में नहीं है. वस्तु, रंग, रूप, एनी अदर लक्षणस ऑफ जाति, द्रव्य, लिंग, कुछ भी ब्रह्म का आप बोल नहीं सकते. ही हैज गॉट नन ऑफ देम. देन हाउ कैन यू डू द निर्देश ऑफ हिम? निर्विशेष in any other way. Nirdesha. There is no other way. That is why this is the only way. From the Nitam Guhayam, he can be recognized there. Here also no Vishesha there. There the Aham Vritti, when it is trying to search happiness outside, it has become samsari. When it knows that inside it only, as its own substratum, as the Brahman, the Ananda is there, and it drops its vritti aspect, something miracle happens. That's called like Brahma Avagamanam or Brahma Anugamanam. In this way only Brahma can be reached. You can't find him in any दुकान, क्योंकि उसका कोई विशेष नहीं है. Again I am repeating it 3 more times. I will repeat. Brahma being nirvishesha, by none of the faculties in any circumstances outside, he can never be found. To discover Brahman who is nirvishesha, in this way, from the buddhi guha only we can. And here also while listening, you and I are trying again for one more struggle. What is that? Trying to understand Brahman as again a Vishesh. कैसा होता है ब्रह्मा, क्यों होता है? Again we are thinking that only. That is why it is an anubhuti. Are you understanding? It is anubhuti. It cannot be put in words. It's nirvishesha. Again, don't try to become nirvishesha. So that is why from the Vijnanamaya Kosha, because the purification of the thoughts, the Ananda का gradation दिखाते दिखाते इन सब का substratum ब्रह्म है बताकर उस ब्रह्म का अनुभव के लिए इन वृत्तियों को भी छुड़वाया जाता है. The moment the vrittis are dropped, the reflected Anandamaya Ananda is not there. The pure Brahmananda as I am experienced. So Aham Brahma Asmi, Aham Ananda Brahma Asmi will be an experience, not a knowledge, not a thought. Thought and thoughtful knowledge was at the Vijnanamaya level. The Vijnanamaya level was becoming Anandamaya through karma and karma phala. Now that Vijnanamaya, when that vritti also is dropped, he will not become Anandamaya, but he becomes Ananda Brahma. Becomes means discovers himself to be Ananda Brahma. These are the few specific things they have to be kept carefully in the mind, so that when we reach to that level of meditation, these will be the most crucial things which help us. Again, I tell from the other side, Brahma is Nirvishesha. Brahma is Anubhava. That Anubhava is Aham Brahmasmi. In that there is no karma, there is no jnanam. It is not a knowledge that I am Brahman. It is not an action that I became Brahman. I am already Brahman. That is experienced. So in that experience, there is no Jnatrutva ki I know I am Brahman. There is no Kartrutva that I became I am Brahman. I am Brahman, that's it. I am Anubhuti, it is. And that Anubhuti is again Nirvishesha. कोई specific Vishesha Anubhuti is some work is done, some vritti created, in the vritti Ananda reflected. That's why when we question, अरे तू क्यों happy है? We tell a reason, क्यों अच्छा कॉफी मिला, अरे दोस्त आया, किसी ने फोन की. So these are all Vishesha Anandas. We have done some punya, so that loving person came in our life and he spoke to you, and that created a vritti Vishesha in that Brahma Ananda expressed. That is called a reflected Ananda. Now, all this drama is dropped. Pure Ananda. When one experiences, somebody asks, Are you are in happiness? Why are you happiness? Means it's my Swarupa. It is my Swarupa is an answer given to a questioner. In that way, it is not an explanation. Ananda Swarup mein hu is an anubhuti again. So in this way, for the sake of this way, making us travel from the outer world through Annamaya, Prana, Mana, Vijnana into Ananda Brahma, this Shruti Mata said about the Pravesha. This Pravesha is Prakalpyate. That Pravesha Prakalpyate, that Pravesha Shabda is used. So actually that Pravesha is neither of Brahman, that Pravesh is not of anything. It is our own understanding of our identity from the outer world through Anna Pranamana, through the mainly the Vijnanamaya to Ananda Brahma. उसके लिए प्रकल्पन किया है. सो प्रवेश किया क्या किया है, क्यों? हमको पहचानने के लिए. किया क्या नहीं किया, क्यों? Because anything can enter when it is not there. When Brahman is everywhere there, how can it enter? That was already told in our rejection of those 5-6 topics. When the Purvapakshi tried to say what Shruti Mata said is right, by trying to say that this is how Brahman entered the Jagat, this is how it entered, he has not entered that way. But this way he has entered. Upalabdhi Dwara Rupena he entered. And this is the way, is the only way the Brahman is discovered. That is why in Gita also clearly तेषां सततयुक्तानां भजतां प्रीतिपूर्वकं ददामि बुद्धियोगं तं येन मामुपयान्ति ते तेषामेव अनुकम्पार्थम् अहम् अज्ञानजं नाशयामि आत्मभावस्थः ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वता. I just remove his ignorance and samsara by giving him the inner wisdom. Here the wisdom is experience. That he is the self inside. Atma bhavastha jnana deepena bhasvata. So by giving him that illumination that you are the blissful self here, I liberate him from all samsara. The one who is a devotee like that. So again, do practice for 4 5 months of reaching to Vijnanamaya Kosha. Then that Vijnanamaya Kosha, instead of going out through Anna Pranamana, let him go inside only. In that going inside, the Vijnanamaya is observing where is the Ananda happening. Ananda is happening in some vrittis, which vritti is very purified. Why those vrittis are there? Because of their punya karma phala, etc. Then that vritti aspect, when it is dropped, then that Vijnanamaya Karta only becomes the Brahma Ananda Yukta. Vijnanamaya Karta becomes the Anandamaya Bhokta, then Vijnanamaya is doing Upasana Karma and Punya Karma. That is the reflected Anand. But that karma samskara or the vritti, when that also is dropped, it can be dropped there by conscious attempt. Then the Vijnanamaya Karta himself discovers himself to be Ananda Brahma. No Anandamaya there. आनंदमय भोक्ता नहीं होना चाहिए हमको. जिस आनंदमय भोक्ता इज द रिफ्लेक्टेड कंडीशनल आनंद वाला है वो. हमको उससे क्या लेना देना. हमको तो आनंद ब्रह्म बनना है. वी डोंट वांट मय वाला. मय विकारार्थ है. अगेन दैट वृत्ति इज गो अवे, देन द आनंदमय गोज अवे. Is it not? If the punya sanchaya, punya phala ho gaya of this vijnanamaya karta, then those vrittis are not there, then he will not have ananda. He will become dukhi only. So, आने जाने वाला दुख सुख हमको नहीं चाहिए. We want permanent bliss. So, when that vritti is dropped, the thought is dropped, then we see Aham Brahmasmi Anubhati. And it is again inexplicable. In no ways it can be told. By Ishvara Guru Kripa, will be pushed into that experience. But for that, reaching to Vijnanamaya Kosha is our duty, our sadhana. If we don't reach to Vijnanamaya, live only at Annapranamana, 100% samsari. And who is the samsari? Vijnanamaya only. How? By becoming extrovert. Through what? These three kosha tadatmya. That is what you and I are right now. When we detach from this, stay in the Vijnanamaya Kosha all the time and be in an inquiry mode of where and how the Ananda is happening, you will know that in the vritti the Brahmananda is reflected. It's all intellectual understanding. When the vritti is dropped, Brahmananda is me, is anubhavati, experienced. This much is enough today. Nahi anyatra upalabhyate Brahma nirvisheshatvat. विशेष नहीं है, इसलिए nowhere else you can find. He is there everywhere. The problem in Brahman is what? Like you are near that bus only, but you can't enter into the bus. Only you have to enter through the gate. जहाँ चाहिए वहां से जंप नहीं कर सकते आप बस में. लाइक द एरोप्लेन आपके सामने ही है. यू कांट एंटर. देयर इज ए एंट्री. So to everything is Brahman only. There is no doubt. But the entry point is the Nihitam Guhayam, the Vijnanamaya Guha. Guhate, Guha Samvarane. Is it? And what is the Guhatva? Don't forget the Vritti only. The thoughts. The Jnata, Jnanam, Gnayam thoughts. The Triputi thoughts. There only the three thoughts, the Triputi thought, when it is healthy, in that Brahmananda reflected as Anandamaya. And the thoughts are dropped, Aham Brahmasmi Anubhuti comes. Nirvishesha Anubhuti. Vishesha Sambandho hi Upalabdhi Hetu Drushtaha. Yata Raho Chandrarka Vishesha Sambandha. Now the last thought today, before we go to another very subtle discussion tomorrow, is Evam, in this way, Antahkarana Guha Atma Sambandha ब्रह्मणा उपलब्धि हेतु। ओके, इस तरह से अंतःकरण गुहा में ही आत्मा है। अंतःकरण गुहा का आत्मा से संबंध होने के कारण ब्रह्म का उपलब्धि का हेतु वो गुहा बना। इन दिस वे, इंट्रोवर्टेड होने से ब्रह्मपुच्छम प्रतिष्ठा कैन बी डिस्कवर्ड। Therefore, for the Brahman, this guha became उपलब्धि हेतु. Okay, सन्निकर्षात्, and two more reasons are given. सन्निकर्षात् अवभासकत्वात् च अंतःकरणस्य. So this Vijnanamaya Kosha is very, very in proximity with Brahma. And second one is what? Avabhasakatva, Avabhasa Atmakatva too. Because in the Vijnanamaya only the Chaitanya Brahma has become Avabhasa Atmaka as Chidabhasa, nowhere else. So the two things, one is knowing Brahman, second is being Brahman. Both are possible only in Vijnanamaya Kosha, because only in Vijnanamaya Kosha knowing is possible. After knowing is done, the knowing is done through the thoughts. When the thoughts are dropped, then being happens. This Vijnanamaya is very nearer to Brahma, not Pranamaya, Annamaya, Manomaya. Why? Because the Annamaya mein Paramatma expresses only as existence. Pranamaya mein existence and also Shakti. Manomaya mein existence, Manomaya, Shakti and Jnanam, but the outer Jnanam only. Only in Vijnanamaya Kosha, Paramatma expresses as existence, as Shakti, as well as Jnanam, but most important fourth thing is Jnata. मन में ज्ञानम होता है, मन ज्ञाता नहीं होता है. ज्ञाता मन में जो ज्ञानम है उसका है विज्ञानमय कोश, that jiva only or that aham vritti only, where chit expresses as chidabhaso. That is why the proximity is very proximity में है, and also it is expressing chita chidabhasa. Here only Brahma upalabdhi, nowhere else. 5 minutes about this. Tomorrow we'll touch again. Then the next, another beautiful discussion starts about Satchatacha Bhavatu Niruktam Cha. That also little heating up topic. Some topics are like that. Upanishad, it is not child's game. It is not reading any novel. And any Purana, any Katha, anybody can speak. But in this way, becoming introverted and deeply analyzing and understanding this process or phenomena is not ordinary and not possible to anyone. अब पता चला ना कि उपनिषद की गंभीरता हमको. And all that is within us only is happening. Only when we purify, become introverted, have faith in Bhagavan Adi Shankara, follow what he says, again it becomes obviously understandable to us, not impossible. So tomorrow we'll see that. Sarvam Rishinam Charanaravindaram Namastu. Om 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 Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Paramarshibhyo Parabrahmane Shrutimatre Nam Tatsat Brahmarpanamastu. Thank you for your patient listening.